What's up, you 3 million awakening souls? Thank you so much for clicking on this video, joining me today. This class is going to be specifically designed for athletes who are looking for a little bit of movement on their recovery day. So if you're pairing this class with this athletic recovery class along with your gym days, then you're going to at least 5x your insane gains. So you're in the right spot. Big thanks to Wilkatika. We're filming here today. This is the venue where we've hosted our first 2 yoga teacher trainings, and it is just spectacular. So check below in the description if you're interested in traveling to Peru, hitting up Machu Picchu, then this is the place you're going to want to stay. We'll begin class today in Balasana, child's pose. So bring the knees apart, the feet together, set the hips down to the heels, and walk the hands forward. Let the chest melt down towards the ground. We'll just spend the first several breaths here to really welcome ourselves onto our mat, into this space, into one breath at a time. Start to deepen your breath. Maybe you can even feel your rib cage pressing into your thighs. Then try to seal the lips, breathe through the nose throughout this practice. Begin to lift the hips up, make your way into a tabletop. Knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders, and we'll just do some barrel rolls. So let your belly sink down towards the ground. And then side bend, start to bring your belly, your rib cage over to the right, all the way up to the top, around the back, tuck the chin to the chest, and then bring the belly over to the left. That's one full barrel roll. Let's do 2 more, going in the same direction. And switch directions on that roll. We'll do 3 of them. Try to move slowly with control and really kind of explore the edges of each stretch. The flexion, the extension, the lateral movements. Last one around. Great, we meet back in center with a neutral spine. Tuck the toes under, lift the hips, downward dog. You might need to adjust your stance, walk your hands forward. And then bend both of your knees, start to press your chest towards your quads. Press into the ground, the inside part of the hands, the base of the index finger, base of the thumb. So at the same time that you kind of have this internal rotation going towards the hands, the wrists, you also have an external rotation where you're opening up the shoulders a little bit more, providing more space so you're not collapsing your shoulders into your ears. You can begin to press your heels a little bit closer to the ground. Maybe the heels touch, maybe they don't. Either way is fine. Start to lift the heels, bend the knees, and walk your feet to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, halfway lift, find some length in the spine, crown of the head is reaching forward, and exhale, forward fold. We're here for a couple of breaths. You can cross the arms, rock the body left and right. Back to center, release the hands, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step left foot back of the mat, make your way into a lizard lunge. Heel toe your right foot out. So both of your hands are on the inside of your right foot. Bring your either palms down or up on the fingertips and just start to move the hips around in any direction, up or down, maybe some circles. And then gently set the left knee down to the ground. Now you can either stay here and just continue to push your hips forward and down, or if you'd like to reach back with the right hand, bend the left leg. Maybe you can hold on to the foot and take a thigh stretch with the left leg. So first I want you to actually pull your foot away from you so you feel that stretch in the right front side of the shoulder. And now start to bring the foot closer to the glute. Send the hips forward and down, and then pull the foot into you, just enough to where you can really feel that stretch in the whole front left side of the hip, the quad, the thigh. Release the fat back foot if you had it held. Gently tuck the left toes under, and then start to straighten the right leg for a modified half splits. You're going to sit all the way back onto your left heel, and then keep that right leg straight, maybe a little micro bend if it feels better for you. Lengthen the spine first, crown of the head is reaching forward, and then you can melt down over the right leg. So we're not only stretching and feeling this on the back side of the right leg, but we're also stretching out the left foot. Rebend the right knee, make your way back to that lizard lunge. Lift that left knee up. Now we're all going to meet in a forearm plank. You can either just step the right foot back, lower down into forearm, or maybe you want to do forearm first, and then step the right foot back. Whatever is accessible for you. But we all meet here in a forearm plank. Tuck the tailbone under, push the ground away. Just one more breath here. Gently set the knees down, hips down, make your way into Sphinx pose, untuck the toes, keep the feet a little bit wider apart. And the gaze is either down towards your hands or straight out in front of you. Take a couple deep breaths here and really focus on lengthening the front side of the body. So instead of bending the back and trying to get that depth, instead focus on taking some deep breaths, finding more space in your collarbone, and really lifting and pressing the heart forward to create that length in the front side. You can either stay here, or if you want to straighten your arms, make your way into seal pose. Just for 2 breaths, you're welcome to. Engage your glutes even more if you did that deeper back bend. And all together, lower the chest all the way down to the mat. Shake out the hips. The palms of the hands come underneath the shoulders. Push the hips back to the heels, child's pose. Lift the hips, downward dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Walk to the top of your mat. Inhale to lift, lengthen, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step the right foot back. Make your way into lizard lunge on the left foot, being forward. Heel toe that foot out. And again, either on the fingertips, palms of the hands, or even down on the elbows. We're here for a few breaths, so just an invitation for you to explore, to move around in whatever weird ways feel good for you. All together, gently set the right knee down. And again, you can either stay here, this is fine, or if you want to reach back, grab onto the foot with the left hand. If you do have that foot hold, then first I want you to push the foot away from you to focus more on the functionality of stretching and opening the front side of the left shoulder. And now start to pull the heel closer to the glute. Sometimes it helps if you actually even move a little bit more forward on the right knee so that you're not sitting on the kneecap, you're more at the base of the quad. Gently release the back foot. Tuck the right toes under. Start to sit back the hips onto the right heel and keep that left leg straight. So a modified half splits. Take a few deep breaths here. Each inhale, you can find a little more length in the spine, the upper body, and each exhale, you can allow it to help you melt over the front leg. Start to rebend the left knee, make your way back to a lizard lunge. And then again, your choice. We're all going to meet back in that forearm plank. So either step the foot back first or take a forearm lizard first and then step the foot back. Your choice, your body. Do whatever feels best for you. We're here for 2 breaths. Gently set the hips down. Back to Sphinx pose. And in a few breaths, we're all going to meet back in Sphinx pose. But if you'd like to straighten the arms and take a deeper back bend in seal, you're welcome to do so. We all meet back in a Sphinx and then begin to lower the chest down. Shake out the hips. Push the hips back to the heels, child's pose. And then come up to a tabletop. And start to bring your right leg forward. We're going to come into a 90-90 position. So right leg comes forward, the hips come over to the right, and then adjust both of your legs so that both of them are in a 90-degree angle. Flex both of your feet. Start to turn towards your right knee, and then begin to melt down over the right leg. So maybe you already find that this is too deep or you don't feel a stretch at all, then you can either come up out of the pose, you can start to move more towards your right foot, or maybe you want to move farther away. Up to you. We're targeting here our outer right hip or thigh or leg. So you're always looking for the functionality of the pose. What is the function we're trying to get to, not necessarily how does it look. Begin to lift the chest back up, walk your hands back. And then we're going to come into a full cow face. So start to bring your right heel closer to the hips. Swing your left leg up and over so that the left heel is close to the right hip. And then I like to come onto the fingertips to lift the hips in order to slide the legs and stack them on top of each other. But maybe for you this is already too much or too uncomfortable. You can always just unstack the leg. It's also perfectly fine. Again, we're targeting the outer hips. So whatever modifications you need to take in order to feel the sensation in the outer hips, that's what you need to take. For each of us, it might look a little bit different. And we're here for just a few breaths. So waste no time coming into the pose. Once you're there, see if you can let every exhale take you a little bit deeper into a space of relaxation where you don't have as much tension and resistance. Release from this full cow face. Take your time, maybe use your hands to help move your legs out of the way. You're just going to send both of your legs straight out in front of you for a seated forward fold. Straighten both legs, spine nice and tall, and then start to melt down over the legs. And again, to any degree, whether you can hold the feet or not doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. You're really looking and trying to target the whole length of the backside of the body. And you've got about 20 more seconds here, maybe just a few deep breaths. Start to walk your hands back. Cross the ankles, make your way back into a tabletop. Move the hips around in just one big circle towards the right, one big circle to the left. And then bring your left leg forward for that 90-90 on the left side. Both legs 90 degrees, both feet are flexed like the toes are pointing up towards the knee. Lengthen the spine first, and then melt down over the leg, or towards the foot, or towards the left side, up to you. And take a few deep breaths here. And just take a moment to really savor and appreciate that you're taking the time to recover in your body, to be hyper aware of how you're moving in space, what you're feeling, what you're lengthening, and how you're training your attention even more to be in the present, focusing on one breath at a time. Release from 90-90. Make your way into full cow face on the other side. Bring the left heel close to the hip. Swing that right leg up and over. Stack the legs however it feels best in your body. Find some length in the spine first, and then begin to walk the hands forward. Melt down over the legs. And we're not here for long. So see if you can make the best of it. Try to relax the tension in the hips. Soften in ways that you can. Walk the hands back. Maybe use the hands, the arms to release the legs. We're coming into a butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. And then start to melt down again towards the feet, over the legs. You could either have your hands on top or holding on to the outsides of your feet. You can also, if your legs or knees are not already touching the ground, which for some people they already are, but if they're not, you can also bring your arms underneath. This is the variation I like to take. It's most comfortable for me and my shoulders, but it's completely up to you. Each inhale, you find more length, and each exhale, you kind of release and come down over the legs just a little bit more. So you're not really pulling or pushing anything, you're just letting the breath and the gravity take you deeper. Or I should say the theory of gravity, let's be real. Begin to release. Hold on to the outsides of both of the knees, bring the knees up together. The feet are a little bit wider than hip distance, bring the hands behind you, and then lift the hips up, reverse tabletop. Engage the glutes, send the hips high, an option to rock forward and back to increase the stretch in the shoulders. Wherever the eyes are looking or the gaze is. In a yoga practice, we call that our drishti So wherever that is for you is fine. You can either look forward, up, or you could even let the head hang back. All together, set the hips down, cross the ankles. I'll just turn to the side for the camera view, but it doesn't matter, just cross the ankles. Sit nice and tall. We'll end class with a little neck stretch. So interlace the hands behind the back, send your fist over to the right hip, and start to bring your right ear down towards your right shoulder. And then option to bring your head forward. Very gently, you can feel those subtle neck muscles being stretched. And then bring your head back over to the right. The head comes back up to center. Switch the fist over to the left hip and left ear down towards the left shoulder. And again, option to bring the head forward. And back, left ear to left shoulder. And head comes back up to center. Bring the hands into your lap. You can also just rest your hands on your knees. And we'll just spend the last 30 seconds or so, maybe just 3 to 5 deep breaths, just to really relax our nervous system so we can be a little bit more centered, more at peace to enter into a beautiful day ahead or close out a beautiful day we just had. So close down the eyes and just take about 5 deep, conscious breaths. Thank you so much for joining me for practice today, for being here, for moving your body, for taking good care of your body, and honoring it so that you can stay healthy, injury-free, and continue to recover on your health and happiness journey. Wishing you all the best, and we'll see you again on the mat tomorrow. Lots of love.